This is Terrence Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to anybody looking to question what they've been told about the job market and how it's gotten better. And if you question the number of 4.3% of how many people are actually having jobs, well, this article that I came across only proves the point of how fake news can be uh, pushed to you in terms, and this fake news is actually what you've been told to believe, that we're in a recovery and the U.S. job market is actually better than it's been. I came across an article from Zero Hedge, and if you're not familiar with it, get familiar with it. Zero Hedge is a great place for different articles, and I've talked about a couple of one in the past. But this one just struck my attention again. The U.S. job market is much worse than the official data suggests, the full story. And I'm just going to read a couple excerpts from it and just encourage you to take a look at it from Zero Hedge, from Tyler Durden. This came out June 4th. Following Friday's disappointing payrolls report, yesterday we showed another even more troubling fact about the state of the U.S. labor market since 2008. Over 93% of the total 6.7 million net jobs created in the past decade have been statistical, existing simply inside an Excel model somewhere in the U.S. Department of Labor as a result of the BLS favorite fudge factor, the birth debt adjustment. Unfortunately, that's just the tip of the iceberg for why the U.S. labor market recovery is perhaps the biggest fake news in the U.S. economic narrative. And as a comprehensive reset analysis issued by Morningside Hill reveals, the state of the U.S. job market the state of the U.S. jobs market is far worse than official data suggests. Here's the real story. The U.S. job market has been described as the backbone of the recovery. 80 months of continuous jobs growth, with unemployment hitting 4.3%, is that number I mentioned earlier, the lowest since 2001. This is striking. However, the perceived strength in jobs creation is at odds with other economic indicators. President Trump ran on a campaign that repeatedly touted jobs, jobs, jobs. His emphasis on jobs creation and bringing employment back to America struck a chord with voters. Trump's election in itself contradicts the popular narrative that the U.S. jobs market is tight and robust. Apparently, when watching some of the rallies that they stated, that especially if you caught him on YouTube, he had a lot of people there. Whatever your political basis or how you feel about Trump is not even important here. It's just that we were told that from that time that jobs were coming back and more robust than we've ever been. And since 2001, since the unemployment rate has hit that 4.3%. He goes on to say, since the monthly jobs report is eagerly awaited as the most important piece of economic data for financial markets, it warrants a deep dive in order to understand what is going on under the hood. Before we dive into the data, here are some highlights of our findings. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, has been systemically overstating the number of jobs created, especially in the current economic cycle. The BLS has failed to account for the rise in part-time and contractual work arrangements, while all evidence points to a significant and rapid increase in the so-called contingent workforce. Full-time jobs are being replaced by part-time positions, resulting in double and triple counting of jobs in the establishment survey. And that's how we've gotten that fake number news, and it's saying that the unemployment is so high. They look at this, they result in double and tripling counting of jobs via the establishment survey. A full 93% of the new jobs reported since 2008 and 40% of the jobs in 2016 alone were added through the business birth and death model, a highly controversial model which is not supported by the data. On the contrary, all data on establishment births and deaths point to an ongoing decrease in entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is pivotal for job creation. That is the bread and butter of how things have been created in terms of job growth in the United States for decades. Jobless claims have recently reached their lowest level in 43 years, which purportedly signals job market strength. I don't know about you. If you're anybody you know who've gotten laid off, how difficult it is for them to find something comparable to what they've been used to getting or paid in that process is a big factor. And the individuals who are working, they're usually getting it from an inside track for someone they know or the like, or there's a lot of government jobs that people, again, in the inside know in that point. So, but if you just actually put yourself out there to find a job, the difficulty is staggering. So this only confirms this point about that. And if you do find a job, it's only going to be part-time and at less than what you were doing before. And again, this is what that shows here in this article. Since hiring patterns have changed significantly and increasingly more people are joining the contingent workforce, jobless claims are no longer a good leading economic indicator. Part-time and contract-based workers are most often ineligible for unemployment insurance. I didn't even know that. Part-time and contract-based workers are most often ineligible for unemployment insurance. It means if they lose their job, they're not going to even receive unemployment benefits, which is interesting because therefore you're not even going to get the full number, because if they can't receive it, and that's where most of the jobs are created, how do you know how many people are really unemployed? Because those are the ones taking the unemployment or seeking unemployment assistance. In the next downturn, corporations will be able to cut through their contingent workforce before jobless claims show any meaningful uptick. Overall, we found that the headline jobs number, unemployment rate, and jobless claims to be poor macroeconomic indicators, since they have failed to account for significant shifts in labor market dynamics. Can't say that enough. Who computes the jobs report and how? The non-payroll employment situation report, NFP, or the jobs report as it's widely known, is calculated monthly by the Bureau of Labor Statistics and is released every first Friday of the month. The two most important statistics in the report are the number of jobs added each month and the unemployment rate. The data for these statistics are collected through two separate ways. Numbers of jobs added to the economy comes from the established survey. Basically, the BLS sends out the following survey to a sample of about 146,000 businesses. That's what they show here in this chart. As per the form, the government gathers the following information: how many employees worked at the firm in that month, along with the total employee compensation and hours worked. By surveying just a small fraction of U.S. businesses, the measurement errors around this survey are significant. The 90% confidence interval is plus or minus 120,000 jobs. Thus, the March 2017 report, which had 79,000 jobs, 90 out of 100 samples fall within the interval of minus 41,000 jobs to plus 199,000 jobs. In other words, statistically, it is impossible to say with any confidence that the economy added any jobs that month, since the number crosses zero bound and could therefore be negative. So right here, again, this article is going on to say just more and more. I want to just read one more excerpt for you. Established report the number of persons on payroll during the pay period that includes the 12th of the month. A person working multiple jobs at different establishments is counted once at each establishment. A person working different jobs at the same business establishment is counted once. This creates a perverse environment, as people lose well-paid full-time jobs with benefits. Multiple new part-time jobs are created in the economy. However, these new jobs are low-paid and insecure positions. That must be said again. This creates a perverse environment. As people lose well-paid full-time jobs, benefits, multiple new part-times are created in the economy. However, these new jobs are low-paid and insecure positions. While the average working economy is far worse, this dynamic gives a false sense of economic strength. Needless to say, part-time jobs are far too inferior to full-time positions. Contingent workers are facing many challenges compared to full-time employees. That's what you covered in a nutshell. So if you're questioning that the unemployment numbers is something going on and you're feeling like you're lied to, this article confirms that. Until my next article, look for your own form of employment. Stop being owned by someone else. Create your own job. Be part of the solutions. This is Terrence Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions. I'm out.